Cade Cunningham, we all know he's a very special player. He has been compared to Tim Duncan in the way he carries himself and the way he prepares for the game and just the way, how it's not always about him. It's about the sacrifices he makes and how he's all about just the team, just like Tim Duncan. Cade Cunningham, in my opinion, he was born to be a franchise player. And Anthony, roll that clip.
We talk about taking that next step. You coming here is a part of that. A healthy Cade Cunningham is a part of that. You said he still plays like he's in high school. He's an NBA star, big picture, but he's moldable and he's coachable. And you said that was appealing to have in the guy who's leading your team.
Yeah, I feel like he has no entitlement about him. He steps on the floor. He reminds me of Tim Duncan in so many ways. When he steps on the floor, there's no, I should be on this team or I should get this call. He just goes about his business in a humble way. And yet there's a dog about him because he wants to be known as a great player and he wants to be in the class of the guys who are playing in all-star games and labeled all-NBA and playing in playoff games. Like, you can see that he wants that, but he doesn't, in my opinion, use his status as a number one pick and whatever people say about him to diminish people around him. And that's something that I think is really valuable, and it's a great sign of leadership.
So I want to give a shout out to Jenna Trotman from 7 Action News for allowing us to play that clip, first and foremost. And I absolutely love that from Monty Williams, saying that Cade doesn't have an ego, doesn't have entitlement. Like, some players in his draft class do. Some, former number one picks that we've seen in the news, reading articles, like saying, like, hey, I should get my 25 touches a night. Cade's not like that. He's more about the team. And I think we get to see that, but maybe some people on the outside don't get to see that. Like, we have his cousin Ashton from time to time, hop in the chat, talking about the Pistons. Like, I've talked to his brother, here and there a few times. Like, Cade's upbringing, to me, I think, is why he's such a good person and a good leader. He just was raised right as a kid, and I think that it's a reflection on him of, Monty Williams saying, like, he just comes in and he doesn't care if he's starting. He doesn't care, if Marcus Sasser gets 10 touches a night. He doesn't give a shit. Like, he just wants to see the team, play winning basketball, and I think that's what the Pistons need, honestly. I think that's what they've kind of lacked. It's just a selfless leader.
Yeah, and he's a guy that you can really build around. Just a guy that it doesn't matter what style of basketball you play, he's going to fit in, and he's always going to make the right play. He's always going to make the right decision. It may not always give you the result, but he is going to put your team in the best position to win a basketball game. And now that he's healthy, we're going to fully see it. It's going to be a fun ride this year being a Pistons fan, just watching him. And I'm glad that his personality is meshing so well with everybody. And even the coach is taking notice. Like, that's a high praise coming from Monty Williams to compare him to Tim Duncan. And we all know it's not like how Cade plays. It's just how he carries himself, and that's really cool, man.
Like I said, I'm glad you said that, because so many Spurs fans, like, when I made that post on Facebook, they thought that Monty was talking about play style. It had nothing to do with play style. It has to do with character and the way he carries himself. And Monty would probably know because he played with the Spurs. He played with Tim Duncan. So I would trust his word versus, internet trolls saying, oh, he compared Cade Cunningham to Tim Duncan. No, more about his on the court, off the court, and just his personality. And I think that's important. I know Troy Weaver always talks about getting the person right, and I think that can just kind of solidify of Troy Weaver saying, we got the person right, and Monty just, clarified that, kid's just a great human being.
And a lot of great franchise players, a lot of great basketball players, that seems to be their mentality. They're more of showing up, not talking, not being in people's faces. The guys that just show up and put in all the work and keep to themselves, they are the champions in the NBA. You know, they're the guys that stand out, even though they don't have to do anything to stand out. They let their games do the talking for them, and yeah, that's what makes Cade special, man. And it's really cool to hear it from the coach, man.
Yeah, it really is. It's funny that like he said that he's still in high school because he's so coachable. Like you would think when you get to the NBA, you kind of like lose that coachability because you're getting those big checks every 2 weeks. But the fact that he's so humble and he's willing to, get coached up by one of the best NBA coaches right now, I think it tells more about like the type of player he is.
Oh, 100%, man, 100%.